Hello, everybody. It's 11:30 Eastern Time on Wednesday, and I am so excited to be here with you today. Hopefully, all my stuff runs smoothly, but I'm still figuring out all this technology, and I'm just really thrilled to be here with you. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about three tips, three lessons that will absolutely positively impact your life. And so, just to introduce myself again, I'm Christine Roberts, a leadership consultant, life success coach, author, and speaker. And my mission is to share the lessons that I've learned in my career and my life to ultimately benefit you in your life. And I want to share a personal story with you today that I think you're going to relate to. And it's going to have a lot of insights that I think you're going to really connect with. Now, before I dig into this, I want to let you know that if you're here, it's not a coincidence. You're here for a reason, and you are here to listen, and something is going to resonate with you, and it's going to speak to you, and it's going to positively impact your life. So stay tuned. So again, I want to share a personal story. When I was a kid, well, first of all, right now I live in Atlanta, and our family, we live in a neighborhood, which a lot of people live in neighborhoods like this that are swim tennis neighborhoods. So my children have grown up with swimming as a part of their life since they were babies. And, but for me, it wasn't like that. I grew up in a small town outside of Rochester, New York. We were about an hour from the Canadian border, lived in a house that was built in 1810. It was, like cornfields, and we had animals, and I just really didn't have a lot of exposure to swimming. In fact, when I was a kid, I fell in the deep end of a pool and almost drowned, and that fear of drowning stayed with me for many years. And there was several years ago that I met a lady named, now I could swim, like I could do the doggy paddle, but I never really learned how to swim properly. And, really a lot of that boiled down to my fear of drowning. And several years ago, I met a lady. Her name was Martha. She was 65 years old at the time, a cancer survivor, a heart attack survivor, and she was doing the Iron Girl triathlon at Lake Lanier with her daughters. And when she told me that, and she actually, I learned about that, it really inspired me. I just thought it was so amazing, the courage that she had to do that. And if you think about anything you've ever done in your life, a lot of times you're inspired by someone else, right? And so she inspired me to decide to do a triathlon. And I thought, I ran the New York Marathon a couple of times. Biking was not a problem. The swimming part, I was like, okay, this is my opportunity to overcome this fear of swimming, of drowning. And so I decided to do that. And when I decided to do that, I shared that with some people. And then it was a matter of figuring out, like, okay, I'm going to do this. I've got this, this triathlon coming up. It was several months away, and now it's a matter of preparing. So, all right, what's the first step? Whenever you're going to do something big, it's a matter of breaking it down, figure out what you want to do, and then break it into small pieces. And so let's see, I'm looking here on the chat. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Nicole. So it was a matter of figuring out, how am I going to learn to swim? In our neighborhood, in our community, we have a aquatic center. And the aquatic center, I thought, okay, I'm going to call there. I call about getting swim lessons. When I go, they tell me there's this person that's going to help me. I get there, and it's this young kid. I don't even think he shaved yet. He was so young, and I'm sure he thought, oh my goodness, he typically teaches little kids how to swim, and then here's this old lady that shows up. So he showed me something. He taught me a few things, and got me to a certain point. I would go to the aquatic center in the mornings at like 5:00, and I just was flailing around, right? I just felt really scared. It was 25 yards each way, and the triathlon was 456 yards swim. And so I would go 25, and then I would hang on to the side and just, like I couldn't really get motivated. Well, my neighbor and her mom were professional. Like, she swam in college. Her mom was a swim coach. So one day she said she'd go with me. Her name's Kyla. And she went with me to the aquatic center. And she said to me, Christine, I want you to go down and back without stopping. And you know what's interesting is when she said that, I did it. Before that, I just was flailing around. I needed that coaching to help me to get to where I wanted to go. And so she did that. Then her mom, who was like a coach, I think she coached in college swim, she went with me. And and again, I felt really vulnerable. I was really nervous about her going with me. And I just thought, is she gonna, you know, she might be thinking, she's terrible. Like I had so many insecurities inside of me about it. But I thought, I need help. So I went with her and she taught me some things and I started swimming, and she just encouraged me so much and told me, Christine, you're a natural swimmer. You're doing great. You've got it inside of you. You're going to kill it. Like she taught me and she encouraged me. And it was like so interesting to me. Like she lit up my confidence. She sparked and ignited something inside of me to help me to believe that I could do it. Like think about yourself. Think about different situations that you've been in, and you've got some competence, but you just need encouragement. And so she was that for me. She came in and she just, I don't know, after that lesson with her, it was like I felt on fire. And I got to the point where I did 950 yards without stopping. I mean, I was feeling good. So let's flash forward to the actual triathlon. It's at Lake Lanier. And I get there and it is like mobbed. There's tons of people. It's like freaking me out. The lake, it's a man-made lake, and so the course was like a U shape of the course. So you're on the beach area, and then they had all these different buoys and everything, and they had a boat in the middle, and the boat was for anybody with medical issues, and they had people in kayaks and paddle boards, and there's just tons of people. And if any of you are familiar, I didn't know this, but at a triathlon, they will have people with, everybody gets a cap, a different colored cap based on your age group. And then you write your name on your calf in the age, what your age is. So, I mean, how humiliating, thank God they didn't make you write your weight on there too. So it's like, talk about being humbled. So I'm in line and there's just tons of people, tons of women. And behind me are all of these really fit, young, vibrant young people, like zero body fat people with yellow caps on. And I'm thinking, what is going on? Because they would have you go in groups. They would call each different group to go. And so I'm like, who are these people? They're like these young kids that swim on swim teams. And I'm thinking, why are they behind the old lady group? I just did not get that. So I'm really getting, like, the mind drama that was going on was off the charts. I'm just looking at this mass of women and the lake. I've never swam in the lake. I mean, it's very different than being at the aquatic center. And so I'm thinking, as they're calling our group, I'm going in and I'm just trying to talk to myself. Like, think about yourself when you've been in some scary situations, something that you pushed yourself, and all of the things that you can be, just telling yourself. It's so important to keep trying to keep positive. And I go into the water and I think, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold back. I'm going to let some of these ladies go ahead so I have some space, because we're just mobbed in the water. Well, I did. It kind of thinned out. I get in, I start to swim, and I get kicked in the face right out of the gate. I swallow some water, and then somebody kicks me in the side. And I'm swallowing, I'm choking, I flip over my back, and I'm coughing. And now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, how can this be happening? It's like I just got started. And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting in the water, and I'm so scared. Like, I have jumped out of a plane at 10,000 feet. I've gone skydiving, I've gone propelling, rock wall climbing. I've done a bunch of stuff. Nothing was as scary as this. In fact, I just read an article in one of the local magazines, and it talked about Lake Lanier is a man-made lake. It talked about Lake Lanier was like a city, and they just filled it up with water. So there's like houses and everything at the bottom of it. I wish I hadn't read that, right? And so I'm flailing around, and I'm trying to just tread water and pull myself together. And I'm going to call him Uncle Bob. He was on one of the kayaks, and he sees me and he says to me, "Are you okay?" And my first instinct, just as the tough person, I'm like, "Oh no, I'm fine." But I said to myself, "Christine, you are not okay. You need help." And if you're anyone who's watching, I bet you have that tendency, right, to just be tough and suck it up and just deal with it. But at that moment, I was like, I need help. So he has me come over to the kayak, and I hang on to the kayak for a few minutes, and I'm trying to just mentally pull it together. And I'm just having trouble. And then I see a lady, there's a big boat in the middle, and I see this lady get on the boat. And I mean, it's so funny because that image, it meant that she was quitting. And I don't know what her situation was, but I thought, I will not quit. I will not quit. Right at that moment, the yellow cap, zero body fat young people, their section got called to go. And I said to this Uncle Bob, I go, "Oh my God, the teenagers are coming." Like it might as well have been a school of piranhas coming. Because another thing that I had heard is that people drowned in triathlons because people will swim over the top of them. I'm thinking, oh my God, these kids are going to swim over the top of me. So Uncle Bob says, "You got to go, go." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, okay." So and he tells me I can go inside the buoys, inside the course. So I flip over on my back. Everything I learned, all the swim instruction went out the window. I just felt safer to do the backstroke. So I am like doing the backstroke, and I see Uncle Bob out of the corner of my eyes, but my ears are under the water and it's all muffled. But I don't care. I want to, I just want to get out of that water. And I am doing the backstroke. And the next thing I know, I keep hearing something. I pop my head up, and Uncle Bob is flailing his arms, and he goes, "You're going the wrong way." Oh my God. I popped up. I was so off course. I was totally off course. I ended up doing like twice the distance that you had to do. And think about in your life how when you're panicked and you're just in a panic mode, how you can get so off course. And so I looked up, and I won't even tell you the cuss words that I used, but I zipped over and I started having to go around the section. While I'm doing that, all these paddle boarders are coming around me, and I'm telling them, "Please stay with me." I'm just so, in my mind, I felt so scared. And they all kind of surrounded me, and inside, there was moments where I felt like a loser. I felt like everybody else is ahead of me. Everybody else is like done. Like I'm one of the last people. And think about for yourself, like how many times have you been doing something and you just feel so insecure? That's how I felt. I felt vulnerable and insecure, but I was pushing through. And so I finally, they kind of all surround me. I get to the end, and I'm trying to get out of the water, and it was the ugliest exit out of the water ever. Because have you ever been walking out of the beach and then you put your feet down and there's the bottom and you can just walk out? Okay, I don't know how deep it is there, but every time I started to put my feet down thinking I could just walk out, there was no bottom, and I'd flail around and then go flail around, and then I finally walked out. When I walked out of that water, I was so thankful. But I'll tell you what, the person who walked out of that water was a different person than the person who started. It's like the lessons there were all about pushing through that fear. And so, what does this mean to you? What it means is I want you to think about yourself, and I want to think about when you've done something that was really tough, really scary. You put yourself out there. And how did you feel after you pushed through? I mean, you felt really confident. Um, you felt like you achieved something, that you pushed through. And, when you've done something that you've really stretched yourself, I want you to think about that feeling. What was that feeling like? So many times inside of us, we can get caught up in our lives where it's like this grind, you know, like you can just get caught up in the grind. If you're a mom and a career person or a business person, you can get caught up in just all of this stuff and lose sight of what's really important. And I want you to think about where you are today. So I want you to think about all the different aspects of your life and what's going well. So when you think about things in terms of your health, physical, mental, relationships, your marriage, your family, your children, friends, coworkers, spiritual, how are you feeling in that part of your life? Your finances, what is going well? And I want you to really celebrate that. And now I want you to think about what are some areas that you want to improve? What are some areas that you know what they are? You know that you're just surviving. You're you know that you need to do something different, but you just haven't done it. And if you were to do something, how would that positively affect your life? What is it for you? Because you know what? Inside of you, you have everything it takes. Everything that it takes for you to be the best that you can be. But you know what? It's okay. I want you to be kind to yourself and give yourself grace because this life is crazy and we can get caught up and just be so busy that we lose ourselves. And if you could push your pride aside, I know that for me, a lot of times it's thinking that I can handle it. I can do it. It's that superwoman complex is what I call it. It's just trying to do things on my own and realizing that I can't. Like when I went and tried to learn how to swim, it's like I needed somebody to give me guidance. I needed somebody who was an expert to encourage me, to pour belief in me. And for you, I want you to think about what you need to do. You know what it is. And I want you to ask yourself what's stopping you. And a lot of times it's pride. And it's pride of not wanting to admit that we need help. And when you think about that, I want you to think about what that's costing you. When you think about your health, mental, physical, your relationships. So here's the thing. Life is short, right? And you are in 100% control of your life. It's up to you to create your life, your best life, and set boundaries and take action on whatever it is that you need to achieve because you are worthy. You are worthy of all the abundance life has to offer. And it's, where you came from or where you are today does not define who you can be or what you can achieve in your life. And I want you to know that. I want you to have that confidence. And so here's the 3 things I want you to do. Number 1, decide whatever that one thing is. When you assess your whole life, what is that one thing that you need to do? And take some action towards achieving that. The second thing is, once you decide that, if that's not your jam, find some help. Find somebody to help you. Find a coach. I mean, I am a life success coach and I work with women on, how to take control of your women who feel stuck and overwhelmed, how to take control of your life, to prioritize what's most important and to make decisive, confident decisions to move your life in a forward direction. But even if it's not me, find somebody, surround yourself with people who you want to be like, and find whoever it is that can help you get to where you want to go. And the third thing is keep promises to yourself. The number one person that you need to keep promises to is yourself. Because ultimately, that is what defines our confidence, our self-esteem, all those things. So decide what you're going to do. Pick one thing. Second thing is find someone that can help support you with whatever it is you want to do. Accountability, people, a coach, mentor, somebody. And the third thing is keep promises to yourself. If you do those 3 things, I promise you that your life will catapult and be positively impacted. And so you deserve all of the abundance that life has to offer. And if you want to reach out to me, I would love to talk to you. You can go to my website at christinemroberts.com, or you can DM me on any of the platforms. And, I've got a program that's going to be coming up here soon. So send me a note if you want to get on the wait list. And that is all I've got for you today. I hope and pray that something that I shared with you today adds value to your life and allows you to really be intentional and to create your best life, because at the end of the day, when we're laying on our deathbed, we don't want to have regrets. So go out and make it a great day. And I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.